Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. Just like the song said, we're doing an oil change on the Fiat. As I mentioned in a previous video, oil is critical for these multi-air engines. I've been sticking with the original equipment oil, which was 4 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum Euro Full Synthetic in 5W40, and a good old Mopar MO-241 filter. One thing to note is that these cars use an oil filter cartridge, not a typical spin-on filter. The location of this oil filter housing is sort of underneath the intake side of the turbocharger. You'll need to remove the pipe connecting the airbox and the turbo. I have a silicone unit instead of the factory rectangular plastic piece. On earlier models like mine, a 2012, you'll have 2 lines that run to the intake pipe, one with a small clamp and the other with a plastic fitting. To remove the plastic fitting, simply squeeze the gray piece and pull. It should disconnect. If you're only doing an oil change, just remove the intake pipe to the left of the airbox. In stock applications, you'll have hose clamps on either end that can be removed with a flathead screwdriver. In this instance, I'm removing my entire airbox assembly because I need to take a look at my valve cover gasket and spark plug tube seals. After some work up top, we need to crawl under the car to expose the oil drain plug. It's covered up by this plastic shield held on by 6 10mm bolts, 2 up front, 2 on either side in the middle, and 2 in the back. Use a 13mm wrench for the drain plug. In my experience, that's all that fits in between the drain plug and the cross brace just behind it. Get your drain pan ready before you loosen the plug. As it drains, let's crawl back up top to get a better look at that oil filter housing I was talking about earlier. It's the black dome piece with the hexagonal shape on top. To remove it, you'll need a pretty large socket. I found that this 1/16 works perfectly. Because it's so far down and at an awkward angle, extensions and U-joints are your best friend. With any luck, the filter housing won't be on super tight. Just apply even pressure until it budges. And remember, this is only a plastic housing, so you should be somewhat gentle. And out she comes. Here's my new filter that comes with a new O-ring to seal the filter housing. We'll want to remove the old one and replace it with the new O-ring. The old oil filter will pull right out of the housing. Make sure to rub a little bit of oil on the new O-ring so it doesn't get tore up during installation. Roll the O-ring over the threads. The new oil filter presses right into the housing. It clicks in loosely, so don't be shocked that it wants to wiggle around a little bit. Now, take your filter and housing and thread it back into the engine, making sure it's hand tight first. Take your socket wrench and snug it up. No need to apply brute force to it since it's just a plastic housing and we want to make sure we get it off the next time. Just make sure it's tight enough for the O-ring to seal. You can reinstall your air intake tube at this time as well. At this point, all the oil should have drained out by now, so crawl back under and put your drain plug back in, as well as the plastic shield with the 6 10mm bolts. Finally, add 4 quarts of that delicious, buttery Pennzoil 5W40. Double check the dipstick, and make sure there aren't any leaks. Otherwise, you're ready to rip. I tend to do my oil every 3,500 miles, which is well in advance of the factory recommendations. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment if you have any other oil changing tips for these Fiats.